Hello everyone, welcome back. Wisteria here. So this fairy tale is called The Gifts of the Little People by the brothers Grimm. A tailor and a goldsmith were journeying together when one evening, just as the sun had sunk behind the mountains, they heard the sound of distant music. It had a strange sound, but was so pleasing that they forgot their weariness and walked speedily ahead. The moon had already risen when they arrived at the hill, upon which they viewed a large number of small men and women, who were holding hands and dancing around and cheerfully singing with the greatest pleasure and happiness. That was the music that the wanderers had heard and followed. An elderly man, somewhat larger than the others, sat in their midst. He wore a brightly coloured jacket, and his ice grey beard hung down over his chest. Filled with amazement, the two wanderers stopped and watched the dance. The old man mentioned and did a motion to them. He mouthed something. They're not sure what he mouthed, but he motioned as well for them that they should come and join in. And the little people voluntarily opened their circle. The goldsmith, who had a hump on his back but was bald rather than self-conscious, stepped right up. The tailor, at first, was a little shy and held back, but as soon as he saw what fun it was, he took heart and joined in. They closed the circle again, and the little people sang and danced wildly. However, the old man took a broad knife that had been hanging from his belt, sharpened it, and looked at the strangers. They were frightened, but they did not have to worry for long. The old man grabbed the goldsmith, and with the greatest speed, smoothly shaved off his beard and the hair from his head. Then the same thing happened to the tailor. Their fear disappeared when the old man patted them friendly on their shoulders, as if to say that they had done well, letting it all happen without resisting. With his finger he pointed toward a pile of coal that lay nearby, and indicated to them through gestures that they should fill their pockets with it. They both obeyed, although they did not know of what use a coal would be to them. Then they went on their way to seek out a place they could spend the night. They had just arrived in a valley when the bell from a neighbouring monastery struck 12. The distant sound of the little people singing ceased instantly. The two wanderers found shelter, lying on beds of straw. They covered themselves with their jackets. They were so tired that they forgot to take the coal out of their pockets first. When they awakened, it was earlier than normal by a heavy weight pressing down on their limbs. They reached into their pockets and could hardly believe their eyes when they saw that they were not filled with coal, but pure gold. Further, their hair and their beards had also been fully restored. Now they were rich. However, the goldsmith had twice as much as the tailor because, true to his greedy nature, he had filled his pockets better. However, much a greedy person has, he always wants more. So the goldsmith proposed to the tailor that they stay there another day in order to be able to gain even more wealth from the old man on the mountain that evening. The tailor did not want to do this and said, "I have enough. I am satisfied. I'm going to become a master, marry my sweetheart, and be a happy man." However, to please the goldsmith, he agreed to stay one more night. That evening the goldsmith hung several pockets over his shoulders in order to be able to carry everything, and set off for the hill. As had happened the night before, he found the little people dancing and singing. The old man shaved him smoothly once again, and indicated that he should take some coal. Without hesitating, he packed away as much as his pockets would hold, and then happily returned home. Covering himself with his jacket, he said, I can bear it if that goal presses down on me. With the sweet idea that he would awaken tomorrow a very rich man, he fell asleep. When he opened his eyes, he got up quickly in order to examine his pockets. How astounded he was that he pulled out nothing but black coal, however often he reached inside. Anyway, I still have that other gold, the gold from before, he thought to himself, and reached for it. Horrified, he saw that it too had turned back into coal. He struck himself on the forehead with his grimy hand and felt that his entire head was as bald and smooth as his beardless chin. Nor was that the end of his misfortune. He suddenly noticed that in addition to the hump on his back, a second one of the same size had grown on his chest. Now he recognized the punishment for his greed and began to cry aloud. The good tailor, who had awakened by all this, consoled the unhappy man as best he could, saying, "You are my travelling companion, and you can stay with me now and live from my treasure." He kept his word, but the poor goldsmith had to bear 2 humps and cover his bald head with a cap as long as he lived. Thus giving people the lesson, being too greedy gets you nowhere. The end. That's a wonderful Brothers Grimm tale, and it is so like them, isn't it? They always have this lesson within their tales, and I like that. Please hit that like, share if you can. If you've not yet subscribed, please consider doing so, because it does really help. Many blessings.